Hi, Dave Smith with Officer.com, and today I want to talk to you about something a lot of law enforcement officers talk about and then don't do, and I think it's important to refresh ourselves in contact and cover. Contact cover has been around forever. In fact, it's a principle probably as long as human beings have been in conflict. That is, one person makes contact, the other person covers that other person, that other officer, soldier, warrior, whatever. Well, in our context, it's very, very important. We've seen tragedies like the Grape Street Park in San Diego, and that made San Diego literally the experts in contact cover because they became the absolute advocates for it. Without getting into that tragedy, you can read that online anytime. I want you to think about the principles. First off, what is your responsibility as the contact officer? Your responsibility is to blade your body, be positioned properly, not make yourself an easy victim, but to get the information, deal with the individuals, run them, write whatever paperwork, if you're doing field interviews, if you're writing citations, whatever it is. This is your responsibility to deal with the people. You do the radio, you do all that, and if you feel you're overwhelmed, let's get somebody else in there. Never hesitate to say, okay, we need another unit in here. Now, who is the cover officer? The cover officer, whoever it is in a position where they can be behind cover if they want, but they have to be in a position where they can react to effectively defend the contact officer. They're visually prepared to see not only what the subjects that the contact officer are dealing with are doing, but also to see, for instance, what's going on in the background. Is there a safe background there? Are there people in something in the environment that presents a threat? And a good contact officer knows that they have to be listening for that cover officer's feedback. And a good cover officer knows to give feedback to that contact officer. Something as simple as say, hey, back out, or come here a minute, or whatever it is you need to say to get that person to gain distance. Because distance is always our friend in critical incidents, so we want to make sure if you got a contact officer in a vulnerable situation, you're the cover officer and you see, for instance, bystanders closing in, or you see that the subjects being contacted are beginning to act more and more bizarre that perhaps the contact officer can't pick up. There may be too many of them, and this is why, again, if you got too many, let's get more people in there. Now, the contact officer's got to understand that your goal is to, number one, be alert, be prepared, but at the same time process. The cover officer has got to be alert and aware. It's a double duty. You're really responsible for that contact officer's safety. So the cover officer is going to be aware, not be distracted, not be running a radio, not be checking your cell phone, not be doing anything else, but watching, protecting, observing, and giving feedback. And that's so important. Be willing to say, let's get out here, back out, come here, whatever your code words are. In fact, it's a really good idea to come up with a set of code words for any kind of crisis. I can remember back in the 80s, we all talked about what if you're taken hostage, what is your cover officer going to do? And you have code words if somebody's pointing a gun at you, do you have code words if you see a threat? These are all important things to practice and think about. A good contact cover team is exactly that, a team. And right now, while you're sitting there in briefing, talk about what would you do. Talk about it. Everyone in your squad should be able to be a contact officer or a cover officer just as effectively. It's a very important concept, one that sometimes gets neglected. You watch these videos and you see both officers preoccupied with one subject when you have multiple potential assailants. So contact and cover is a great, great concept. Remember it, do it. I'm Dave Smith, and we'll talk to you again.